I'd like to call up the order. We have a quorum for District 2 Emergency Services. It is 7:32. Well, I've got something. Okay. I've just been using this for citizen. Do we have any citizens' comments today for District 2 meeting? As long as it's complimentary, yes.
You can say a lot in 3 minutes.
I will say that Adam was very helpful on the telephone. He was out a burn ban. This young gentleman was very on the phone. I did not really catch his name, but he was very helpful, very open, very honest, and I have not found that to be the case. Other communication with certain locations in other districts. Miss Flores was also, or Miss Mary was very helpful. Borrego, Arcadian was very helpful when I spoke with them. I have not found that to be the case in others.
All right. Well, thank you. Good job, Adam. All right. Any other comments? All right. Going to number 3 now. Review, discuss, approval of the June 2019 regular meeting minutes. Does everybody have a chance to look at it? Yep.
I make the motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Motion from Commissioner Whitten.
I'll second.
And a second from Commissioner Hawkins. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None. Minutes pass. We have Treasurer's report. For June 2019 report from the Treasurer. Any comments? Oh, okay. No comment. Total funds in the District 2 Emergency Services Incorporated checkbook is $7,085.72 as of June 30th. About the US now. Any comments? Any questions?
I second it.
It's been moved, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That was Commissioner Hawkins and Commissioner Whitty. Directors. I'm sorry. Discuss staffing at Station 1 and Station 2.
Okay, so it has to do with money, and of course I'm putting together all the numbers in a spreadsheet for budget workshops. And I am taking into account the full picture along with the pay-in on health benefits as well as the taxes as well and our payroll costs for the employees. Right now we currently run 4 to 5 full-timers a shift for one station. And with our minimum staffing being at 4, which allows us to run 2 ambulances if we need to. I just want to bring to the table now so that it's already getting talked about that is going to have to increase with the second station. Now, I'm not saying that we're doubling staff because it would be, we don't need to have 8 to 10 people working for the area that we cover. We can cover it sufficiently with the staff that we have, but instead of operating 4 to 5, I think our numbers should be geared more towards 5 and 6 for the 2 stations. And with that being said, between the 2, but for 5 to 6, that would allow me to have a dual certified crew in each station. They can run fire or EMS, whatever call comes through. If one station is out on an EMS call, now the other station simply provides service until they get back in service, but allowing that 5th and 6th position there. And of course you have to remember, in reality, you're gonna have more around, if your physical shift has 5 to 6, you're gonna have more to 7 to 8 on duty because you have myself that's here all day, every day, and then Lauren is here almost every day during the week as well. So you have the personnel that are gonna be here, and of course, we have the capabilities if we have to get to it to where I can get on the truck and work if I need to, if we get that busy. Now, of course, but I mean, it's only happened a handful of times to where I've had to get on and work on the ambulance, but it does happen. And I think with certain things coming to surface right now, one of the major things being that the city of Elmendorf is looking towards us for a possible contract for EMS services to that city. We would, at that point, we would have to be able to staff an entire separate medic group for that area. So I'm trying to keep that in mind because we couldn't provide services to our area and Elmendorf with the staff numbers not increasing. Now, in order to get around certain costs, and by certain costs I just mainly mean overtime. So instead of having 5 to 6 full-time people on a shift, your 5th and 6th positions are going to be rotating part-timers, which we have a substantial list of part-time employees here who are all really solid, and most of our part-timers do work with Bear County 10, which we do most of our mutual aid with, so it actually works out really nice because whenever we work mutual aid with District 10, employees here are just seeing other fellow firefighters that they work with here, so everyone works together well and vice versa. But having that extra position allows me to, I don't want to tie up my lieutenant on the truck, basically. Right now, the lieutenant works off of the engine, which is fine because we're one station and he's able to run a scene or get command set up on a scene until I arrive on location. Usually I'm the first one there, but sometimes I'm not, and he has to be able to initiate that. My concern is that if I have 2 stations and the lieutenant technically could potentially end up, let's say, at downtown Methodist on a transport for EMS, and I don't want to put myself in a position to where we don't have a lieutenant in the coverage area to set up and run that call. Now, like I said, the chances are low, and the times that it's happened have been minimal to where something major happened and I'm not physically here. But our whole entire job exists because the unplanned happens. So I think it's important that we start talking about these things now. I was talking with Rudy some, and I have started putting together the budget numbers to show how those numbers exactly would reflect onto the next year. And my strategy is going to be to use the part-timers for those positions. And of course, it helps in multiple directions. It helps us on the overtime pay, and it helps them have security and knowing that they're still going to get their part-time hours that they want to get. So I haven't had issues filling a shift in a very long time. It's probably been a year and a half since I've had issues trying to get someone, because anytime someone drops a shift, someone needs off, someone's right there to pick it up, and we have plenty of staff. I think our staff is currently sitting at 45, so we have the numbers. But I just want to make sure that we staff the appropriate to regular position.
I think this is a discussion we should continue in the budget meetings.
Right.
Look at the numbers. I agree that just 2 people at each station is not.
No. That's why I just wanted to start the thought process now. Now we have sufficient staff at one station, but we can't take that same and just split it. We need to add some to the regular shift.
Chief, that's one of the things I just want to add. I work full-time in Bear County, well, now part-time, as some of y'all know, ESD10, and that's just to add on, that's the exact same thing we do. We run that part-time staffing at some of our stations. We only staff 5 full-timers at 3 stations, but each station has at least 2 to 3 guys at each station. One station has 4 all the time with the rotating part-timers, and it's cut down on cost a lot and saved ESD10 a lot of money, so it's very manageable. So.
It seems like it's thought in this, and we appreciate it. And we look at the numbers on the 13th.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, the spreadsheet build up.
Yes, I've been putting some substantial time into the numbers, trying to make sure that trying to take in the exact percentages out of annual wages on what the tax costs are going to be, and taking and running what our payroll cost is per payroll, because it's based off of how many employees we're running payroll on. So I'm trying to take those costs and get it as close to exact as I can and make sure to overestimate it for us. So that way, at the end of the year, we have extra money instead of saying we didn't budget for that.
Feel free to, all of it was special quality awareness.
Larry's been a good help on, especially giving me the percentages associated with IRS to factor into those costs. So, but that's another thing that helps. I think per employee, we're spending about $7,000 a year for our input on health benefits. So that's whenever you have a part-time employee that you're rotating through, you're not spending that money on health benefits, you're not spending vacation overtime. And of course, a lot of employees have been utilizing the comp time option now, as instead of taking the overtime pay just to build up some paid days off, and that's also cut down our expense as well. And whenever I'm factoring in for the budget, I'm factoring in as if we paid every full-time employee for all of the paid holidays, which of course we're not, but that way we're on the higher side of it.
Yeah, I don't think the numbers scary. You know, we know, but we know we're at the limit, we can see that. Hopefully we will be this.
And firefighter Rodriguez has put in a grant, I think at least 2 submissions now, for a program that we pay the payroll for a year, and if we're awarded, I believe that's through FEMA, correct?
Yeah.
So he's been working hard on that, and he's continuing, he's submitting as many times as it allows him to. So even though there are a lot of applicants, excuse me, since we have not applied in the past, they use that as part of your ranking to see if you've been awarded for it at some time or another. So we do stand a decent chance.
Just to clarify, the main one that I've been going after would be one that would cover our budget for an entire year. The next year it would cover it 75%. The next year it would be 50. Next year it would be 25, and then it would end after that.
Please do.
I didn't want to exhaust all application processes on it. We only have a total of 3 every October to October. So we still have 1 left. It's still in the approval, I guess, state of being discussed. And if it comes back negative like the first one did, then we'll apply again.
Thank you very much for all your work.
Super awesome.
Anything else?
You know, one thing, let me see real quick. I don't think it made it to the agenda, but it was supposed to, if it's okay for me to bring up on, Kelly said 3rd ambulance. But we've been talking about possibly adding transfer service to our services, and I'm not going to get too long-winded with this, but I have met with the director of Southern Cross, who's directly in charge of their transfer program, and he helped steer me in a direction that I hadn't thought of. Initially, we had been looking more towards maybe possibly getting an agreement with the local hospitals on doing facility-to-facility transfers, because of course, whenever we think about it in terms of budgeting, we can never anticipate how many 911 calls we're going to have the next year. All we can do is get an average at best. By adding a transfer truck, we would be able to secure a little bit better income for the department, along with helping some additional citizens. I reached out to local nursing homes, and they said that right now they're limited to just Apollo, and that they have been pretty unhappy with the services, and that they would be more than happy to work with us as an agency if we added that to our service. They have been more than helpful. They're putting together a spreadsheet right now to show us, so that way we can use for our budgeting process in order to give a gauge off of potential earnings, so that we can budget for such things.
That's what we have to do.
Yes, sir. And one thing that I thought was interesting that's different than the hospital is that they informed me that in the event that they call us and say that they need a resident taken to either a hospital, or they just need to go to a doctor's appointment to and from, but they're too unstable to go to the appointment without an ambulance, they call us. Of course, we submit it to the insurance. If the insurance either doesn't pay or doesn't pay all of it, the patient receives no bill. The facility picks up the remaining balance and pays it to us to make sure that there's no additional burden on the patient, and then that way that we're taken care of as an agency. So something that I want to think about is that one of our medic units, its maturity date on the loan in 2 years. And if we were to place the order for an ambulance through Siddons Martin, the first payment isn't for 2 years. So that way, strategic planning wise, you're able to start to add to our service now or maybe in the near future without the additional financial responsibility as far as a ambulance payment goes. And then that way, by the time our current ambulance matures, then the other payment will just take over at that point. So that way, but we're not paying on 3 at one time.
So I think you should just bring it up to the budget.
Yeah.
And that's why we just wanted to make sure to bring it up now so we can make sure to talk about it.
Yes, you can start, and if you get your numbers and other stuff together, well, feel free to send it out to us.
Mr. President, I assume that's a further discussion of staffing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Station one and.
Yes,
Of course it is.
Because the staffing,
the staffing would go to either.
additional staffing would be on the medic unit.
And thank you, Lou, for keeping us honest here.
If you'll talk to Ms. Reba, at the residence, you might find a very receptive person if you haven't already.
Yes, I had a very receptive person whenever I went the other day, so receptive to where she was already wanting to mention it to their sister facility in Stockdale. So they were very much receptive.
They have problems.
All right, we've discussed the staffing. We'll take it up again on our August 13th budget meeting. And hopefully start coming up with some solid numbers that we can use on this. Item 6, recess for executive session. I do not believe we have anything. Nobody has requested one, so we can pass that one up. And number 7, return to regular session. And I've got to admit I didn't make an error on that because I said return and discuss everything in number 7, which this is.
Discuss that.
Yeah. I'm going to put that down to Larry and show him informational. Next scheduled meeting is Monday, August 19th, immediately following the regular meeting of WCESD number 2. Anything else, anybody?
We also have to have a workshop for this office.
Oh, yeah. Should we have that at the same time?
We might as well have it at the same time as
Yeah, same
another.
time.
Yeah.
13.
We'll have the workshop meeting on the 13th at the same time.
Immediately following.
Immediately following the workshop for the, just segue right into each other.
That's the one for the payroll.
Yeah.
I think something at 6 o'clock, yeah, we should provide dinner. Sometimes they're cooking, you know, and it's so good when I come
They always cook when we're lucky.
home.
We're lucky to adjourn.
Not yet. Who's cooking on the 13th?
We have to check, but maybe we'll have some cooked up.
That's when we're gonna be talking about pay raises.
Yeah, that's when we're
Maybe
gonna
a
have to.
steak dinner.
Go to Suburban.
Kelly likes wine.
I'm gonna have to go to the Lockhart Market. Yeah.
So we can adjust the budget.
If there is no other business, we'll adjourn at 7:51. This goes so much quicker when Larry's not.
There you go, Kelly.
Yeah.
He said that they.
And
Now, I
I'll
have a question.
check the mail.
Yes, sir.
Since you entered the money, your wife did a fundraiser on Facebook. How do we get that?
They cut a check every 45 days out of it, and it will go to his office.
But now that's their first. Now she built it. How did you do that?
She did it, I don't know.
Hey, you're right.
He doesn't do anything.
You donated to it.
Yes, I did.
You may not know it. No, I know you don't. Last I saw something.
Because So any individual can set up a fundraiser through Facebook for a nonprofit. If it is a registered nonprofit, it allows them to select it from a list and then raise that money and fund some
So
money.
they will send her a check or whatever.
No, not her. It goes to the list.
Is that what you use yet? Is that?
That's what is in the system is our.
Oh, I know that, but I didn't know what she said.
It's all built in there, so it does it that way so that someone could, I mean, I'm sure people find ways around it, but couldn't falsely raise money and then just collect on it.
Like fire chief. We got a good part. See, that's how I am. Is that okay? Look who did it. And here, see, under EMS tag here, the same place on the fire.
Okay.
Yeah, see, since we only get one map.
Oh, okay.
I want him to send me that one so I can have the other one.
I'll send it to you. Which one do you have, the fire?
I got EMS.
Okay, I'll send you the
Or
fire.
send them both to me, since they might be more updated than
Okay.
this one I put on here with the ambulance station.
Okay, yes, these were the 2019 update after everything after you forecast, so they're a little different.
All right, well, yeah, let me have both of them,
Okay.
and that way I'll update the webpage.
Got everything right in this packet, so I'll send it right now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I didn't mean to get off.
No. What,
It's just a matter of scale.
yeah, well, you know,
So you want me to pick you up?
We also are doing so she wants
Well, we just try to play around with the whole custom.
I did the same thing.
Physically zoom in.